Right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Man, today is an incredible day because we have made it to the end of Think and Grow Rich. Right? We're going to be talking about the 13th principle of success in this book. And I'm super grateful to be here today. So, with that being said, the conversation today is going to be on the sixth sense. And this is what Napoleon Hill refers to as the door to the temple of wisdom. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Right, Napoleon Hill, he describes the sixth sense as the portion of the subconscious mind that may be referred to as your creative imagination. So think about it like this, right? Have you ever received like a hunch or an idea or an inspiration, and that idea may have came out of nowhere, right? You're just, I remember there was one time I was driving and I was in the backseat of a car, and all of a sudden it was just like burning desire came into my chest, and I was thinking, like, where did this idea come from? And the truth is, right, it is through the sixth sense that ideas can come to you from sources outside of you. And this may be like an idea, it may be a plan, or it may be a thought that literally just flashes into your mind. And so this is really cool stuff because the idea here is, right, when those ideas come to you, right, the goal is to take action on them right away so that you can actually, turn the idea into a reality and profit from it. So what's really important here, right, when I'm talking about the sixth sense, is that you need to master the other 12 principles in order to really master this one, right? This may have happened to you like once in a blue moon where that genius idea, that one thing that you needed to know came to you, and the goal of Think and Grow Rich, right, the end goal is to be able to develop this creative faculty at will so that you can literally become a genius as you develop your sixth sense factor. And so it's really important. And so I'm going to share an idea with you that Napoleon Hill, it served him very well. And it's going to be a conversation on the invisible counselors, right? So Napoleon Hill was telling in the story, right? He says that in order for him to be great, right, he wanted to emulate the great, right? He wanted to take on the traits of people that he really looked up to. And so what he did was he would study super successful people. And that's something that I've learned from all of the greats, is that they all had role models, right? People that they studied religiously, right? I know Napoleon Hill's story to the T because I've studied him so much. And even Tony Robbins will say this, right? He says that I'm great because I stood on the shoulders of giants. And what I'm saying here is, right, if you want to be great, start to emulate the great. And so what Napoleon Hill did, he actually created invisible counselors, right? So he, talking again about the mastermind principle, right? One thing that you can do with your mastermind, the people don't actually have to be there. So let me tell you this, right? Napoleon Hill, right? He created a mastermind in his imagination with Thomas Edison, Abraham Lincoln, Henry Ford, Andrew Carnegie, right? People that he really looked up to at the time. And he would invite them into this mastermind, and it wasn't real. It was all in his imagination, but to him, it felt real. So what was really cool about this, right? Let's say, in the business world, you are faced with a new challenge, a new problem, or a new obstacle, right? Especially when you set a high-level goal, you're going to be faced with the unknown. And so what he did was he went to these people and would present the challenge to them, right? He would be like, hey guys, like, this is what's happening in my world, and how would you look at it? And what's cool about it is that he, even though this was all in his imagination, he would sit in their energies. Okay, let's say, like, this is an idea that I heard, right? Like, let's say you are faced with a business challenge, right? I was told that you want to write it down, put it in the middle of a circular table, and start sitting in different seats so that you can look at the problem differently. And what Napoleon Hill did was he would sit and he would look at his challenge in as if he was Andrew Carnegie. Okay, how would Andrew Carnegie look at the challenge that I'm facing here today? How would Henry Ford handle this? And what was cool about it was by doing so, it was through his sixth sense, right? Going back to the sixth sense for a minute, he was able to receive the ideas or the plans or the thoughts from a new light, right? Dr. Wayne Dyer says that if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So when you implement like the invisible counselors, right, you can then look at your problems differently and actually find the secret hidden solutions that you need to find to them. So that's Napoleon Hill's story and how he did that. And I want you to understand, right, your ability to use the sixth sense will come slowly through application and use of all of the other 12 principles in this book. And that's why it's so important when you are reading Think and Grow Rich that you don't just read the book, right? There was one person that really inspired me to start talking about Think and Grow Rich. His name was Bob Proctor. And I know he has been reading this book for 60 years straight and studying this book. And so I was thinking, why would someone ever study this book for 60 years straight? So when I was 19, I picked up the book, I read it. I knew it was a fabulous book. I didn't truly understand it. And then I kept coming back to it time and time again. And even, I will admit, right, 15 minutes before I went live today, I was preparing for the live, thinking, okay, what am I going to talk about? And just rereading this same chapter, like on the sixth sense. I've read this chapter at least 10 times, and it hits me totally differently now, more than ever, because, I'm preparing to teach it. So that's why it's so important, right? It's not like you're going to understand these principles just by merely reading them, right? Bob Proctor says that the mere reading and memorizing of these ideas is going to be of no use to you until you actually apply and understand them. And so it's through you like applying the principles, right? You're not going to understand persistence until you actually continue to actually do the action and be persistent and show up for people when you need to. So it's like you got to master these principles to really understand this idea and like I'm literally like talking about the keys to becoming a genius here, and it's so cool, right, to understand the sixth sense. So this is a conversation that is worth having, on a deeper level, definitely for sure. But I hope that I made sense today and that you at least became aware of the sixth sense, right? When I first read this chapter, it was definitely out there for me. And, finally reading it like for the 10th time plus now teaching it, it's starting to make sense. So I hope that, one day you will be able to get to a point where you can say, I'm a master of the sixth sense, and that I know how to receive the ideas and the plans whenever I need them so that I can actually take my thoughts and profit from them. So thank you for being here with me today. What's up, Sam? So yeah, that's the live today. I will keep this recorded and posted on my Instagram, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.